Okay, in this video, I'm going to walk you through how to create how to convert um, a CSV to SQLite file. So that way you can perform SQL. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to open a connection to a SQLite file. After that, we're going to read in a .tsv compress file using pandas. After that, we're going to create a table in our database that has the same columns as our CSV file. After that, we are going to write our data frame into our table. And that should be it. We're then going to run a sample query. Oh, we're going to write our data frame into our table. We're going to commit the changes, and we're going to write this in using pandas. We're going to commit the changes using SQLite 3. Once we've committed the changes, we're going to copy the .SQLite file into our Google Drive. So the reason we want a SQLite file is so we can run SQL on top of it. I think you can do it with pandas. It's not to say you can't, but it's just good to get familiar with a SQLite file. So let's begin. The first statement is just some imports. So we need SQLite 3 and we need pandas. Don't worry about it if you don't know what pandas is. You pretty much just need to run this notebook to get your SQLite file, right? The objective is to get a SQLite file in your Google Drive that you can then use to practice SQL in Python. And we can make more tables as well and more things as well as we can continue to grow our SQLite file. But for now, we're just going to make a first one. So here we go. So whenever I run this connection, it actually creates so it says SQLite 3.connection mydb.SQLite. This file did not exist. Like if I just delete it and I run this, it will just generate a file called mydb.SQLite right there. So, and then this connection is what we use to write into that file. The next thing I need to do is open up the CSV file that's in my Google Drive. To do that, in Colab, you need to first connect your Google Drive. So I'm gonna unmount mine so that way you can see what that looks like. It like restarted the entire notebook. Sorry, I was not aware it would do that. Let me just regenerate that file. Cool. So in Google Drive or in Google Colab, if you come to this file section and there's a mount drive button here, and I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and you just connect it to your Google Drive. And what it's going to do is basically just create a path where you can actually go into your Google Drive. Within my Google Drive, so if I show you here, right on top, I have a datasets folder with this TSV file that's compressed with a .gz. So I'm going to read that in, and I do that by coming here. The easiest way is to go to Drive, My Drive, Datasets, come here and just copy that path. And then using pandas, put that path in. It's a tab delimited file, gzip compression, run that cell, and run that cell. Okay. It takes a while to read it in because it's got to decompress it, and then it's also just got to read it in. So cool. So it looks like it's read in. This looks good. Nothing too funky. It does say we have mixed types on 4 and 5. like columns 4 and 5. So that's just something to be aware of. The next thing I'm going to do is we need to create a table for this data set, and that'll be in the next section. To do that, we need to make a SQL statement for our table. So I'm going to just call it table statement for now. Use 3 quotes. I'm going to say create table. This file is called title.basics. So I'm going to call my table that. I'm going to call it title_basics. I'm going to replace dots with underscores here just because dots in SQL have different meanings. So create table basics. Let's see, create table SQL. Create table and then define your columns. Cool. Column 1. So column 1 is going to be, I'll just put this down here. Create table basics. Cool. Just making sure I'm not missing anything. Column 1 is going to be our ID column. I'm just going to give it the same name. And it's going to be a varchar column. And we'll max it out at 20 just to be safe. Next, title type column. This is going to be varchar. We'll do 20 as well. Primary title, varchar. For this one, we'll make it 100, so titles can be up to 100 characters long. We'll do original title, varchar. Actually, we'll do 200 just to be safe. Is adult, bool, start year, int, end year, int. And do you see how it's got these like these slash ends? I actually might check this end year column because let me check that first. So df dot end year dot value counts, and this will just show me all the different values that are in this column. So it does have some end year values in it. Oh, this is so interesting. Oh no, it's got a bunch of slash ends, and then it's got some years in them. So what I'm going to do is do df end year equals df end year dot replace. And then I think with replace, we can just put in pandas replace method. Data frame to replace. Or no, wait, replace. To replace. Okay, cool. So we put in a to replace argument, to replace. And I want to replace those characters. And then I want to replace them with a value. So I'm going to put the value as 0, which is an integer value. Before I commit it, so this is going to commit it in there. I'm just going to remove this just to see what happens. It's not liking the syntax. df end year dot replace. Oh, equals. Nope, that didn't work either. There we go. Whoops. Okay, cool. So if you notice now, these slash ends are basically zeros. And now let me do a value count on that just to do a sanity check. Cool. This looks good. I'm going to do df end year equals this. So I'm going to go ahead and just replace it. Do df.head. Okay, awesome. The next thing I'm going to do is do my runtime column. So runtime minutes, and that's going to be an int. And then after that, genres, and that's going to be a varchar. I'm going to make this 500 just in case a movie has a bunch of genres and the text gets really long. So there's my table statement right there. Now I can do connection.execute table statement. Connection.commit. So we have created our table statement. We are writing our table by executing right here. And then we commit our changes. So remember, you can always roll back a commit as well. That's why you commit. So that way it basically takes a log like, hey, here's what's happened. And now I can do connection.execute select star from, what did I call it? Title basics. Fetch all. Nothing. Great. This looks good. We have nothing in there. So here we're just testing that our table exists and we can query it. The next step, let's write in our data frame. Let's write our data frame into our table. So you can do that just by doing df.toSQL. There's a toSQL function which takes your entire data frame and just writes it in. We're going to say connection equals connection. Schema is none. Name is title basics. Apologies for the noise. They're working on the roof right now. And I think that's it. Connection equals CONN. And now we're going to test that actually worked, testing that our table was written and we can query it. Oh, it's saying like we can't. So we'll do if exists, replace. And what that means is that the table exists, it's actually going to just replace the table. So we didn't need to define the table, which is kind of a pain. Pandas, so we didn't need this step, but now you know how to do it. Pandas already knows to just create the table on its own. God, Pandas is so great. And then we can just, we'll test it here in a little bit. Looks like it's taking a while. Taking a while. Ooh. Sorry. It's very noisy. All right, let's do a fetch all. Probably should have just done a count star. Just to see how many rows there are, because I think there's like 1 million rows or something. So let me go ahead and just, I wish I could just stop this. There we go, interrupt execution. So that should be interrupting it, and then we'll just do that. Cool. And if I do df.shape, I have that many rows. So this works. We're good to go. We're done. I'm going to hit Control S and save it. The next thing I'm going to do is download this file. And did it down? Oh, it's downloading right now. And it's looks like it's going to be a hefty one. Once it's downloaded, I should be able to just open up my Google Drive and drag it and drop it. I'm not going to show you that. It's pretty simple. And downloading this is just taking a lot longer than I thought it would take. So thank you for watching. Remember, once it's downloaded, just drag it and drop it into your data sets and you'll have access to it from now on. And yeah, hope this was helpful. Appreciate it.